Welcome to Local Edition on Time Warner Cable. I'm Steve Swatt with the Sacramento Report. In the next few minutes, we're going to talk about a question that so far has defied a solution at the state capitol, and that's how should we pay for billions of dollars in needed transportation spending. My guest this segment is Matthew Harper, a member of the State Assembly from Huntington Beach. Thanks for being with us.
Happy to be here.
So I think we're fairly well established. We've got billions of dollars in backlog in needed transportation spending, $5.7 billion a year over what?
From the north end of the state to the south end of the state, from the Sierras to the coast.
Right. And as you know, for quite a while now, you've been in a special session to try to figure out how we're going to arrange the funding, and it's been going nowhere. The majority Democrats would prefer an increase in the gasoline tax and some other fees, and the Republicans basically say we just should reprioritize our budget, for example.
And there's actually been 9 bills that I've supported that each approach reforms in terms of transportation. Sometimes it's eliminating unused positions, sometimes it's rediverting funds that are existing, and we can come up
with... From the high-speed rail, for example.
And that is one of them, utilizing cap-and-trade dollars and others, and we can make sure that adopt a plan to be able to divert billions to be able to address our transportation needs. We can also address it through the budget process, but instead what ended up happening is they added a special session, which was mostly a way to be able to discuss a tax increase, which I would argue that Californians do not have any appetite for transportation, especially when we have a surplus in our regular budget.
So Democrats and Republicans have been at loggerheads for many months now on this issue, so you've come up with perhaps another approach, which would be a plebiscite, just asking California voters what their ideas would be.
My bill, AB 1910, would actually have an advisory measure, which would be to advise the state legislature on what I consider these regressive taxes that would be proposed for Californians to be paying for increased transportation. Already our cap-and-trade system already increases the amount of dollars that cost average Californians daily on transportation through gas.
So you would put this advisory measure on the ballot, and the criticism of something like this in general is that we already have a very crowded ballot for November. Do we want to add more measures of an advisory nature to a ballot and just perhaps more confusion for the voter?
Well, the legislature has already placed a ballot measure that's advisory onto November. It's concerning Citizens United. Instead of approaching it through maybe a constitutional amendment. And so the legislature has already said that they're not only open to, but have placed an advisory measure on the ballot. And I think that if we can put it on for Citizens United, we can certainly put it on for our transportation needs.
Okay, I want to segue to another subject very briefly before we run out of time. I know you have another piece of legislation that deals with the University of California at Irvine, which wants to establish a labor institute. There's one at Berkeley, one at UCLA, and things like that. You're not necessarily 100% against the institute, but you want labor to pay for it.
Most certainly. UC Irvine's right in the heart of my district, the 74th in coastal Orange County, and I have a big concern about having a third labor institute, especially when we redundantly already have 2 within the state of California, one at UCLA and one at UC Berkeley. This would be at taxpayer expense. And I feel very strongly that instead of having additional tax dollars be spent on a labor institute, which I think pushes its own political agenda, instead those dollars should be going to the classroom, or even better, they should be put towards reducing tuition at the University of California.
All right. Well, we're out of time for this segment, but Matthew Harper, thanks for coming by and talking about these 2 issues. They're very interesting. We appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
And thanks to our viewers for watching Local Edition on Time Warner Cable. A reminder, you can see this and other interviews on YouTube, also on My Government on Demand and the California channel. Have a great day.